Do you guys ever look at Packer Twitter?
No.
Packer Twitter is hysterical during games because half of the fan base is saying how Jordan Love, like, give him time, like when he has time, when he has guys not dropping the ball, not fumbling, the offense looks acceptable. And the other half of Packer Twitter is, this guy's got to go. Like, it's over. What are we doing? We're winning games that we can be moving up the draft board, but we're winning these games we shouldn't be. So it's a funny place for a Vikings fan perspective to be sitting back and watching the Packers fans kind of debating amongst themselves whether or not Jordan Love is any good at all, whether they want to be winning or not. And on a day where they walk away with, pretty convincing 20-3 win, second half, Jordan Love looked pretty good against the Rams. I think it's one where you have to have a positive takeaway, because this leading into this week, we said the pressure was on Jordan Love. Gutekunst came out and said he has to be better. And everyone's been talking about whether or not Green Bay is going to look for another quarterback during next year's NFL draft. They probably will be regardless, to some degree, paying attention to it. But today, Jordan Love goes 20 for 26, 228 yards and a touchdown, a 20-3 win, as I said. Second half, he only had one incompletion. First half, you saw Packers fans kind of worried again, making misreads and just poor throws. But then in the second half, he started to look a little bit more comfortable. An absolutely filthy touchdown pass to Luke Musgrave over the middle of the field towards the end of the game. A double fake, and then he still has these sick arm angles sometimes that he could throw with. I think the takeaway for me, though, is you have to be happy with this performance because it was a step in the right direction. Jordan Love didn't light the world on fire today, but it's all about him looking like a capable starting quarterback by the end of the year. And in the second half today, it's just a matter of getting a complete game out of him, which we haven't seen really all year except maybe the Chicago game, where if he can look the way he does in second halves and the first halves, Packers are playing good football, but they just haven't been able to do that.
And this was a must-win for Jordan Love's sake. You're hosting a backup quarterback.
Oh, this would have been a horrible loss.
You had to win this game, and it looked sloppy at first, but they did. And what I took away from this is I've said that Jordan Love is very, very solid in that intermediate game. He's accurate, and he's got the arm strength when it comes to that sense. And he was good in that sense today. To end the half, I want to point out one thing in particular. And they got that field goal to end the half. I forget if they made it or not, but he got him in field goal range.
They did not. 7-3 at half.
Okay. But he threw a very good ball right over the middle, got up, spiked it, had a field goal attempt. That's where he thrives, in that short passing game. And he was good in that today. And it was just funny. I forget the receiver, but Love threw a good ball. It was caught. And then the dude just fell to the ground, and the ground forced a fumble, and the Rams recovered it. And that's when I was saying to myself, you know what? Maybe this first side of Packers Twitter might be right.
Where he just has nothing around him.
He just has nothing. It's such a bad team, and I'm just going so back and forth on Jordan Love. I don't really know yet, but a promising second half and a very important win for his sake.
Well, I say I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan. I am happy to say Jordan Love is the Packers quarterback of the future. They should go all in on him and commit no matter what. I mean, look, here's the thing. Jordan Love has been up and down, right? And my claim isn't that they're going to immediately kick him to the curb next year. But I don't think that Jordan Love, he's done this a few times. He's put together decent games against bad defenses where he's pedestrian. I don't mean that in the bad way, right? He puts together a workmanlike performance.
I like that word.
He does a decent job. He takes care of business. His receivers do what they're expected to do, and he's able to put together a performance that's good enough to win the game. But in the NFL, that's not good enough. That's not what you're looking for in a quarterback. You can settle for that, but what you want is the quarterback who will do work to win you games you really shouldn't be winning. And there has been no game this season that I can think of where Jordan Love really got the Packers in a position where they won a game they shouldn't have won. Maybe you'll say the Saints game. Okay, perhaps. But beating the Rams 20-3, I mean, this Rams team is just, they weren't good this week.
Was a disgusting Rams team that they were throwing out there today.
Without Stafford.
It was the Packers versus Brett Rypien and Royce Freeman. Right. I remember, Paul, when we were doing that Dynasty League startup in 2018 for fantasy, and people were thinking Royce Freeman was going to be like the next big running back
for Denver.
Yeah, and I was surprised he got beat out by Phillip Lindsay. who is now out of the league. So like Royce Freeman's really not that guy, right? But all I mean to say is just like, look, Jordan Love hasn't shown us a lot. This game hasn't changed my mind about him much. The Packers are going to be doing their due diligence in the offseason. But hey, like if what he is showing is that he is not Zach Wilson. When things work around him, he can do a good enough job to win the game. He can meet expectations. And in all seriousness, that's not nothing in the NFL.
No, it's not.
Not a lot, but it's not nothing.
When they get production from their other guys, I'm looking at Christian Watson had 1 catch for 37 yards. Where has he been this season?
That doesn't help. I mean, when you're supposed to be the best receiver on the team, clear cut, and a guy who is expected to have the season that he was supposed to have, that was a pretty high fantasy draft pick for me this year. It doesn't help a young quarterback when he's not really in existence.
Like he's had his injury concerns, but listen to the yardage he's had this year. He's 25, 91, 27, 33, 37. There's really hasn't been a game where you look at Christian Watson, who had a handful last year, where you said, yeah, this guy can be a number 1 receiver. So yeah, you do have to be fair to Jordan Love that part of Packers Twitter who's saying he doesn't really have much of a chance this year does have an argument. So again, even winning any game in the NFL is good. And I think Packers fans have to come away with this happy with what they saw, whether or not you're rooting for Jordan Love anymore or not.
Yeah, I mean, to play a bit of devil's advocate, and when I was talking about Jordan Love too, I said the same thing when I was trying to defend him on the Chill Pill segment a while back. I said that the situation he has is not great, and it's not easy. But then you look at a guy like we talked about before, like CJ Stroud, who really doesn't have a great situation either. Yes. And he is flat out awesome. And that's the other side of the coin.
It's where CJ Stroud is making Tank Dell and Nico Collins and that Texans offensive line at times. He's making the offense look really good.
Yeah. Like I was ready to say like, oh, Stroud has Tank Dell, but like, wait a minute. No, like Tank Dell's okay.
CJ Stroud and Jordan Love, what does that look like?
Yeah, I still think that it might be the case where Stroud still looks great on Green Bay and Love still looks iffy on Houston.
The Texans are probably, what are they now, 4-4?
Yeah.
The Texans are what, 2-6 this year? Jordan Love's their quarterback. That's just fact of the matter right now. Or at least, I guess you can't say fact, but that's what I'd imagine. So, again, Jordan Love hasn't looked like CJ Stroud this year. CJ Stroud's had one of the best rookie seasons we mentioned at the top of the show in a long time. But you got to give him time. Got to keep giving him the season. And this was better than last week. So there you go, Packers fans.